It begins at 6:42 a.m. in the kitchen as you stand barefoot on the cold linoleum floor, waiting for your bank app to load. The sun is just beginning to touch the blinds with a thin line of pale gold. You're checking an automatic payment that should have cleared last night. It hasn't. You frown, tap again, and watch the spinning circle rotate without connection. Then your phone vibrates, once, twice, followed by a deep, resonant tone you've never heard before. A sound meant to cut through thought. An alert flashes red across your screen. Outside, the neighborhood feels frozen, as if holding its breath before you do. You lower the phone for a moment. The kettle begins to steam. A distant dog barks once and then stops abruptly. The refrigerator hums. Everything ordinary hangs in the same moment until the sirens begin. They rise slowly, mechanically, stretching into the kind of warning no one ever expects to hear in real life. You don't move. Your fingers curl around the edge of the counter. The bank app closes itself. The screen flickers. Network unavailable. Your phone displays the full message now. National emergency alert. Possible nuclear detonation reported. Seek immediate shelter. Protect financial essentials. This is not a test. The kettle clicks off. Silence rushes in, thick and unnatural. For a moment, your mind refuses to accept the collision of threats, blast, fallout, systemic financial failure. Then one quiet line surfaces inside you, clear and undeniable. You need to act now. By 6:45 a.m., your hands move before your thoughts fully catch up. You grab the radio from the counter, the flashlight from the drawer. The envelope of cash you keep in the kitchen, the one you rarely touch because digital banking made cash feel obsolete. Not anymore. The sirens outside continue their mechanical rise and fall, cutting through the morning air like a blade through cloth. Civil defense principle. Distance and shielding save lives in the first minutes. Financial collapse principle. Liquidity saves options in the first hours. You force yourself to breathe, 3 seconds in, 4 out, as you step toward the center of the house. Away from windows, away from uncertainty you can't control. You shut the curtains. Not for protection, but for discipline. You don't want to see the flash if it comes. You don't want to know more than you must. Your phone loses connection entirely. No calls, no messages. The banking network is gone. You swallow hard because you understand what that means. Digital money is no longer functional. Cash and physical assets now matter more than account balances. You check your emergency envelope, $220 in small bills. Not enough for comfort, but enough for decisions later. Fear threatens to rise. You name it, fear. It softens slightly. You enter the hallway, the safest interior section of your home. You place the radio and cash beside you. The bills feel strange in your hand, soft, flimsy, suddenly heavier with meaning. Outside, the sirens shift to a steady warning tone. You press your back against the inner wall and begin to think through what comes next. Reflection. In crisis, survival is both physical and financial. You secure the space around your body and the assets that anchor your choices. Move with intention. You're not reacting, you're positioning. By the 10-minute mark, 6:52 a.m., your sense of time warps. The sirens outside flatten into a steady warning tone. You avoid the windows, walking low and deliberate, gathering everything you need from the bedroom and bathroom. Your breath comes quick and shallow. You slow it intentionally. You grab the thick comforter from the bedroom closet and begin stacking it against the inner hallway wall. Density equals shielding. Every layer matters. Civil defense principle: if you can't go underground, build inward. More walls between you and the outside mean less radiation exposure. Financial defense counterpart: if the system collapses, Portable assets and documents matter more than balances locked behind offline servers. You retrieve your fireproof document bag from the bedroom closet, passport, ID, birth certificate, a USB drive with essential financial files. You hadn't expected to ever use it in an emergency. Now it feels like the difference between being able to rebuild and being erased. Your phone buzzes briefly, reconnects for 3 seconds, then drops again. Banking alerts flash across the screen in rapid succession. Server error. Transaction pending. Network down. You don't waste battery trying to refresh. In a collapse, attempts are costs. Outside, a neighbor shouts your name. They bang on the door, rapid, desperate. The instinct to open it surges through you, sharp and immediate, but you know better. If they're panicking, they haven't sheltered. If fallout comes, opening the door may expose you both. Your hand trembles on the doorknob. You pull it back slowly. You whisper, "Not now." The guilt burns, but survival requires boundaries. You carry the document bag back to the hallway and place it beside the cash envelope. You check the contents once more. Each item a thread connecting your present to whatever future waits on the other side of this. Reflection. You secure your space. You secure your essentials. You protect what you'll need on the other side: identity, liquidity, choices. Shelter yourself first, then your future. At the half-hour mark, 7:12 a.m., the world outside has gone eerily quiet. No cars, no machines, just distant siren echoes fading into cold morning air. Your shelter is forming, comforter wall against the inner hallway, interior position away from exterior walls, sealed gaps around doors, flashlight angled upward for soft, diffused light. You check the seals around the front door, pressing a towel into the base. You feel the rough fabric under your palms, the resistance as you push it tight into the gap. You add duct tape along the edges, smooth, firm, decisive. Civil defense insert. Sealing reduces the amount of radioactive dust entering your airspace. Even small gaps can accumulate danger over hours. Financial continuity insert. When systems shut down, cash becomes primary. Digital records, if not backed up locally, may be lost or corrupted. What you physically control remains yours. You open your document bag and check the contents again. Your hands move through the items, each one a lifeline. Passport, state ID, social security card, insurance papers, USB backup with account information. Physical copies of key account numbers. You add one more item, the small gold necklace from your dresser. Not for sentiment, though the sentiment is real, but because portable intrinsic value is worth more now than credit lines or digital balances. You sit back against the comforter-lined wall. You force your breath into rhythm, 3 in, 4 out, repeat. Your stomach tightens with the first waves of adrenaline exhaustion. You take one sip of water from the bottle you grabbed from the kitchen, small, disciplined. You mark the bottle with a pen, day 1. Outside, a metallic creak echoes, like a utility pole shifting or a fence gate swinging loose. You freeze, listen, then stillness again. Your phone battery reads 87%. You set it to low power mode and place it face down beside you. Reflection. You've created a barrier between yourself and the world's collapse. Physical and financial, both matter. Both will carry you forward. You've done what the first 30 minutes require. Protect your body, protect your identity, protect your value. The next steps are endurance. By the first hour, 7 till 42 a.m., your shelter is half-formed, but the real work begins now. You kneel on the hallway floor and check every gap. The base of the bathroom door, the frame around the bedroom entrance, the crack beneath the front door. You push towels into each space, packing the fibers tight. Your fingers drag against rough fabric. The pressure steadies you. Civil defense insert. Radioactive dust travels with air currents. Any sealed gap reduces infiltration. imperfect sealing still decreases dose. Survival is about margins. Financial collapse, insert. A failing system creates desperation. Protecting assets from theft, confiscation, or opportunistic violence begins by controlling access to your space. You add a second layer of tape to the door edges, hearing the adhesive rip in short, sharp bursts. The sound feels grounding, rhythmic. You test the seals with your hand, no noticeable draft. Your phone flickers with one last dying message from your bank. Critical system failure, services offline. You screenshot it, documentation matters later, and then return your phone to low power mode. You retrieve the small ledger notebook you've never used from the kitchen junk drawer. In a world without digital systems, manual record keeping becomes your new infrastructure. You write the first line. Day 1, hour 1, assets on hand, $220 cash, gold pendant, document secured. Outside, something metallic clatters, maybe a trash bin, maybe wind, maybe someone searching for anything useful. You sit perfectly still. Noise means presence. Presence means risk. You breathe in slow through your nose, out through your mouth. This is when panic tries to take over. You push it back. You place one hand flat against the cool wall. The texture grounds you. The solidity reminds you that the house is holding, that your choices are working, that you're still in control of what you can control. Reflection, securing your shelter, isn't just about radiation. It's about reducing human unpredictability. A sealed door is a barrier against desperation, yours and others. Your space is your vault. Treat it as such. By the second hour, 8:30 a.m., you shift from sealing to arranging. You gather the 3 water bottles you brought from the kitchen into a neat line against the wall, labeling each one with today's date. You place them where you can visually track your supply at a glance. Civil defense insert. Sheltering for 24 hours requires water rationing. Small, controlled sips maintain clarity without depleting resources. Financial rationale. Scarcity turns water into currency. Every bottle preserved now is leverage later. You turn your attention to air circulation. You can't open windows. You can't risk exterior air. But you can create micro-movement inside the hallway by adjusting the bathroom door, leaving a towel-wrapped gap at the base while keeping the upper section slightly ajar. Small airflow, minimal dust risk, a balance. You check the banknotes in your envelope again, 20s, 10s, 5s, 1s. Smaller denominations matter more now. Large bills become liabilities in collapsed economies. No one can make change when the registers are dead. You add a handful of coins from your pocket. In desperate markets, coins become barter tokens, tiny denominations of trust. Your stomach growls, but you ignore it. You focus on organizing your financial triage kit. Cash in envelope, ID documents in bag, backup drive inside zip pocket, ledger on top. This becomes your emergency kit, the equivalent of a trauma kit for your future choices. Outside, the neighborhood falls quiet, no more knocking, no more voices. The absence is unnerving, but also protective. Silence means people have either sheltered or left. Either way, you're safer alone. You perform a grounding technique. You place a hand flat against the wall and feel the cool surface. You anchor your attention there. Texture, temperature, pressure. The simplicity calms you. You write in your ledger, Hour 2, shelter secured, air managed, resources stable. You take one small sip of water and mark the level on the bottle with your pen. Reflection, liquidity of resources mirrors cleanliness of air. Both need to be protected from contamination, physical or economic. Stabilize what you have. Control begins with inventory. By hour 3, 9:42 a.m., you begin layering furniture strategically. You drag a heavy chair from the living room toward the outer wall of the hallway, adding mass between you and the outside. Then a box of books from the bedroom closet. Then the laundry basket filled with towels and linens. Every pound becomes shielding. Civil defense insert. Shielding follows a simple rule. The thicker and denser the material, the more radiation it blocks. Even household objects count. Financial resilience parallel. Dense, tangible assets hold value when digital systems vanish. Physicality becomes trust. You sit again, breathing through the exertion. You check your pulse against your wrist, fast but steady. You count, 3 in, 4 out. The rhythm returns. You open your ledger and continue writing. Water, 3 bottles, full. Food, available in kitchen, inaccessible, 2 exposed. Cash, $220 gold, 1 pendant. Documents, complete tools, flashlight, radio, tape, towels. Then you add one more line. Status, safe interior position, exposure minimized, enduring. This isn't just record keeping, it's a psychological stabilizer, a statement of reality you can lean on when fear tries to whisper otherwise. Your radio hisses softly. You adjust the antenna and hear a brief burst of garbled speech, government frequency, or maybe. Then silence again. You note the attempt in the ledger. Radio contact attempted, unclear. You take a controlled sip of water. The taste is clean, grounding. You mark the bottle. A soft creak in the ceiling draws your attention. The house shifts under temperature changes. Structures settle, your breath catches, but you remain still. You place your palm flat on the floor. Feel the firmness beneath the carpet. Remind yourself that the house is holding, that you are safe, that small sounds are normal. By hour 4, 10:30 a.m., you feel the strain of stillness. Your legs ache from sitting. Your throat tightens with unexpressed tension. Thoughts of your neighbor return. Regret, guilt, grief you can't resolve yet. You name it, guilt. Naming reduces its power. Reflection. You strengthen physical barriers and financial foundations simultaneously. Both require the same discipline, intentional action, controlled emotion, precise decisions. You've built your shell, now you settle into it. By hour 5, 11:41 a.m., your breathing has evened into a slow, practiced pattern. The hallway feels smaller, but safer. You've constructed a bubble made of blankets, furniture, sealed doors, and discipline. The air is still. The temperature has dropped a few degrees. The silence has weight. You check the radio again. Static. A faint oscillation beneath the noise. Then nothing. Civil defense reminder. Expect communication outages. Electromagnetic pulses and power grid failures interfere with transmission. Financial collapse counterpart. When communication fails, markets fail. Digital transactions disappear. What you physically hold is now the entirety of your accessible wealth. You glance at your ledger. The neat handwriting gives you a sense of control in a situation where control is mostly illusion. You add a line. Hour 5, radio static only. Assets unchanged, resources stable, holding position. You hear a distant metallic clang, maybe a car door, maybe debris shifting in wind. Maybe someone moving through the street outside. You press your back against the interior wall and stay still. Movement outside means desperation outside. Stillness inside means discipline inside. You perform a grounding cycle. 5 things you see: shadowed hallway, flashlight glow, comforter folds, water bottles, document bag. 4 things you feel: floor texture beneath you, blanket warmth, cool wall, breath in your chest. 3 things you hear: your breathing, radio static, a far-off creak. It pulls your mind back from fear's edge. By hour 6, 12:30 p.m., your body wants motion, wants escape, wants information. The temptation to peek out a window tugs at your instincts with silent persistence. Just one look, your mind whispers, just to see. You close your eyes. You counter the whisper. No exposure. No risk. Stay. Civil defense insert. Most fallout is invisible. Curiosity can be fatal. Financial parallel. Exposure also means theft, confiscation, or losing control over what you have secured. By hour 7, 1:40 p.m., you settle deeper into stillness. Hunger gnaws more insistently now. You have food in the kitchen, but the kitchen has exterior windows, too much exposure. You drink water instead, slow, measured sips, and note the intake in your ledger. You mark another entry, hour 7, holding. Communication, silent. Shelter, intact. Mind, clear. Reflection, endurance becomes its own currency. Every choice to stay put buys time, safety, and future opportunity. Stillness is not weakness, it is strategy. By the 8th hour, 2:20 p.m., fatigue begins to warp the edges of your perception. Sounds feel sharper, shadows longer. You adjust the flashlight angle so the light spreads softly across the ceiling, creating a dome-like glow over your shelter space. Your phone buzzes, unexpected, startling. A single alert sneaks through the dying network. Financial institutions offline, withdrawals unavailable, further updates pending. It confirms what you already suspected. Banks, payment systems, and credit networks have collapsed into emergency shutdown. The digital economy has flatlined. You write in your ledger, digital money, frozen. Cash, primary. Physical assets, essential. Your pulse quickens. You fight the urge to spiral into panic. This is when panic tries to take over, you tell yourself quietly. You push it back. Civil defense insight. The highest risk period for fallout exposure is still in effect. You must remain indoors. Financial parallel. The highest risk period for asset loss is immediate collapse, looting, desperation, opportunistic theft. Your safest place is behind a locked, sealed door. A noise outside, slow footsteps on pavement, deliberate and unhurried. Someone walking without panic, which is somehow more disturbing than frantic movement. You press your ear near the inner wall, but the comforter muffles the world. Maybe that's good. You want to call a family member, check if they're safe, but your battery reads 78%, and every attempt drains power you may need later. You set the phone aside, face down. You resume your micro-routine. Check water levels, check documents, check radio, check door seals. Repetition calms the mind, creates the illusion of control. Sometimes illusion is enough. You write, hour 8, systems collapsed, assets secured, discipline holding. Outside, the footsteps fade, silence returns. You take another small sip of water and mark the bottle. You rest your head against the comforter wall and close your eyes for 10 seconds. Not sleep, just a brief rest for your mind. When you open them again, the hallway looks the same. The light is soft. The air is still. Reflection. Discipline is a wall between you and the chaos outside, between your assets and the hands that might reach for them. Your safest choice is to remain exactly where you are. By the 9th hour, 3:31 p.m., a subtle shift occurs. Fear no longer spikes with every sound. Instead, a numb steadiness settles in. The survival space feels strangely normal now, this narrow hallway, this stack of cushions, this diffused light overhead. You've adapted faster than you expected. You begin thinking about the hours ahead, about tomorrow, about what the world might look like when you finally open the door and step back outside. Civil defense reminder, fallout intensity drops sharply after 12-24 hours. Patience directly reduces exposure risk. Financial reminder, in collapse, value reorganizes. Essentials become currency. Stability becomes wealth. You start listing potential post-event assets in your ledger. Water, trade value, very high. Canned food, value, high, if accessible. Batteries, value, very high. Flashlight, value, medium, non-trade. Cash, value, high, initially, uncertain long-term. Gold necklace, value, stable, intrinsic. Radio, value, mission critical, non-trade. You consider the possibility of looters or desperate neighbors after the first 24 hours. You acknowledge the possibility of needing to move only after radiation decreases to seek more stable shelter or organized aid stations. But right now, movement equals danger, exposure equals uncertainty, uncertainty equals risk. Hour 10, 4:23 p.m. Your stomach clenches with real hunger now. You have no food in the hallway, the kitchen is too exposed. You drink more water instead, taking 3 careful sips and marking the level. Your flashlight buzzes faintly, battery strain becoming audible. You lower the brightness to preserve power, beep, accepting the dimmer light as the cost of endurance. A strong metallic bang outside makes you flinch. Sharp, sudden, close. A trash can tipping. A door slammed by wind. Someone scavenging? You grip your knees and breathe until your pulse steadies. Internal whisper, listen, wait, decide. You write in your ledger. Hour 10, hunger present, resources holding, outside, unstable. You realize survival isn't just about staying alive in this moment, it's about preserving the ability to rebuild your footing afterward. Every small act now is an investment in your future stability. Reflection, keep energy low, awareness high, and decisions deliberate. Hold the line. By the 11th hour, 5:40 p.m., the hallway grows dim as natural light fades. Your flashlight flickers slightly. The house settles into the deep quiet of early evening. No outside lights. No hum of appliances anywhere in the neighborhood. Total blackout. You shift your position and feel a stiff ache move through your lower back. You stretch slowly, careful not to disturb the shielding you've built around yourself. Civil defense, insert. Darkness is normal in grid failures. Do not seek external light sources. Do not uncover windows. Financial implication, total blackout means cash and physical goods become the only functioning tender. Darkness changes the social economy. Stealth becomes as valuable as money. Your phone battery dips to 73%. You resist the urge to check for new alerts. There won't be any. You pick up your ledger and write, Hour 11, power grid down, communications dead, assets preserved, position stable. The silence presses in, a psychological weight more than a physical one. You whisper to yourself, stay here. This is safety. The words settle your breathing, give you something concrete to hold. Hour 12, 6:45 p.m. The transition to night feels absolute. You lower the flashlight to its dimmest setting, preserving battery. You wrap the comforter around your shoulders, careful not to disturb the larger shielding portion against the wall. Your body craves routine, your mind craves escape, but your discipline remains. You repeat a grounding ritual. Touch the water bottle, smooth plastic, cool temperature. Touch the document bag, leather texture, slight weight. Touch the wall, solid, unmovable, steady. Each texture reminds you of presence, of reality, of control. You think briefly about the money you left in the bank, digits locked behind dead servers, balances that exist only as electronic ghosts now. It hits you with a dull finality that money is gone, at least for now, maybe forever. But what you have here, water, documents, cash, gold, these are real. These are yours. These will rebuild what comes next. You close your eyes and count your breaths. In for 3. Out for 4. Repeat until the rhythm becomes automatic, until thought fades into stillness. Reflection. As darkness deepens, your world contracts again. But every small victory, staying, waiting, rationing, enduring, pushes survival forward. You've made it to nightfall. Stay the course. By hour 13, 7:18 p.m., your sense of time drifts in the darkness. Night has settled fully over the sealed house. The narrow hallway glows with the faintest halo from your low flashlight setting. The silence is so complete, it feels like a presence in the room, like something watching and waiting alongside you. You shift your weight and wrap the comforter tighter around your shoulders. The shielding remains intact. Your personal warmth is only a thin layer within a deeper fortress of fabric and furniture. Civil defense insert. Night hours are psychologically hardest. Radiation continues to decay rapidly outside, but you won't feel it, won't see it, won't know it's happening. Trust the timeline, not your senses. Financial collapse parallel. In darkness, theft thrives. Staying hidden, quiet, and contained protects your assets more than any physical lock could. You write in your ledger by flashlight, hour 13, night. Holding position, no new risks, systems silent. Outside, a low mechanical groan echoes across the street, an emergency generator somewhere finally failing, or perhaps a distant transformer cooling down after hours without power. You don't investigate. You don't move closer to the sound. You stay where your shielding is strongest. Hour 14, 8:05 p.m. You feel a wave of deep fatigue wash over you. You rest your head against the wall and close your eyes in short intervals. Not sleep, but controlled micro-rests that keep you alert without slipping into full vulnerability. You perform a steadying breathing exercise, in for 3, hold for 1, out for 5, repeat. It slows your thoughts, sharpens your calm, creates a rhythm your body can follow. You imagine your bank balance, the one number you checked this morning in the kitchen a lifetime ago. You see it floating like an artifact from another world, meaningless now. You accept the new truth. Your wealth now fits in a small zippered bag beside your knee. Hour 15, 9:12 p.m. A light tapping comes from somewhere outside, possibly a loose shutter caught in wind, possibly a branch, possibly a person testing doors. You stay silent. The comforter muffles the world for exactly this reason. Reflection. You begin to understand that in collapse, radiological, financial, societal, your endurance is the thread that keeps everything connected. Night is long, but you're longer still. Hour 18, 12:37 a.m. The world feels distant and unreal. Your eyes burn from the dim light and the strain of staying alert. Your back aches from hours on the floor. You shift positions slowly, mindful not to disturb your carefully constructed shielding. You check the radio again, turning the dial carefully through the static. A faint hum rises and falls, a near voice somewhere beneath the noise, then silence again. You write it down. Hour 18, radio interference, signal unclear, holding, civil defense insert. Interference often clears after the first 12-18 hours as electromagnetic disturbances settle. The longer you wait, the more likely you are to receive instructions. Financial collapse insert. Markets do not come back online uniformly. Information and misinformation will shape early recovery. Preserve your battery for official channels only. Hour 19, 1:20 a.m., your mind drifts toward memories of normalcy. Grocery lines, card swipes, digital receipts. All the tiny frictions of daily economic life now seem like luxuries, signs of stability you didn't know were fragile, didn't know could vanish in a single morning. You rest your palm on the document bag, leather cool under your fingers. Inside, it lies your identity, your legitimacy, your ability to prove who you are and what you owned when the world restarts. Hour 20, 2:15 a.m., you fight the overwhelming desire to sleep. You allow brief micro-rests instead, leaning your head against the wall, counting breaths until your thoughts begin to stray, then pulling yourself back to alertness. Your flashlight flickers more noticeably now. You lower it to its final dim mode, just enough to see your immediate surroundings, nothing more. Hour 21, 3:06 a.m., your breathing becomes shallow with exhaustion. You deepen it manually, forcing the rhythm back into your chest. 3 in, 4 out. Control what you can. You take another small sip of water, marking the bottle carefully, still adequate for tomorrow. Hour 22, 3:55 a.m. The air feels colder now, but the quiet remains stable. No new sounds, no movement outside, just you and the darkness and the steady rhythm of your own survival. Reflection. Discipline doesn't feel heroic. It feels exhausting, repetitive, monotonous. But monotony is the foundation of survival. Hold steady. Dawn is closer than it feels. By hour 23, 4:48 a.m., the darkness begins to lighten almost imperceptibly. A soft grey creeps under the sealed edges of the hallway door. Not sunlight exactly, but the suggestion of morning, the promise that night is ending. You check your radio again with hands that tremble slightly from fatigue. Static. Then a tone, clear, deliberate, cutting through the noise. Then, finally, a voice. Distant and distorted, but unmistakably real. And shelter-in-place remains in effect. National emergency broadcast. Radiation levels falling but still dangerous. Remain indoors until further official notice. Communication networks limited but stabilizing. Your eyes water, not from emotion exactly, but from the release of tension held for nearly 24 hours. You catch a second transmission line. Avoid all financial institutions, banking systems compromised, widespread fraud and system errors, cash transactions recommended, further updates to follow. It's confirmation of everything you suspected, everything you prepared for. Your early decisions protected both your life and your financial future. You write in the ledger with shaking hands. Hour 23. Official guidance received. Shelter in place continues. Cash economy validated. Systems recovering slowly. Civil defense insert. After 24 hours, radiation decreases to a fraction of initial levels. Shelter remains your best protection until official clearance is given. Financial collapse conclusion. Your physical assets, documents, cash, small valuables, are your bridge to the new economy. Digital balances, if they return at all, will return slowly and unreliably. Trust what's in your hands. Hour 24, 5:43 a.m. The first true light bleeds through your sealed barriers, painting thin golden lines across the hallway floor. Your body is exhausted beyond measure. Your mind feels like a wire pulled taut for hours, but still intact, still functional. You breathe deeply, 3 in, 4 out, one more time. You touch the water bottle marked Day 1. You touch the document bag containing everything that proves you exist. You touch the comforter wall that shielded you through the longest night. These small anchors mean you're still here, still alive, still capable. You survived because you made 1,000 small decisions. Physical and financial, practical and psychological, not perfectly, but deliberately, and that made all the difference. Reflection. Dawn is not rescue. Dawn is not safety. Dawn is the beginning of the long return, but you are ready for it. The radio crackles again, softer now, more stable. Static shifts to a faint voice providing instructions you'll need in the hours ahead. Light seeps steadily through the sealed edges of the hallway, growing stronger with each passing minute. You pick up your water bottle, the one you labeled Day 1, with shaking hands, what feels like a lifetime ago. Thin morning light glows through the translucent plastic, illuminating the inked words. The bottle is lighter now, half empty from careful rationing through the night, but it feels heavier in your hand, not because of the water inside, because you carried it through the longest night of your life and you're still here to hold it. You breathe once, slow and steady, feeling your lungs expand and contract with the familiar rhythm you've practiced hundreds of times in the darkness. The world outside is changed in ways you can't yet see or understand. The economy has collapsed into something new and uncertain. The neighborhood is silent in ways that suggest permanent transformation, but you are still here, alive, sheltered, prepared, holding the first tools of rebuilding: your sealed space, your disciplined mind, your documents, your small store of tangible value. The radio settles into a low, steady hum of official guidance. The morning light grows stronger against the covered window, and you wait, quiet, alert, enduring, ready for whatever comes next.